Good evening, Councilman, Council President, and other members of the City Council, and to the residents of Mount Vernon. My name is Robert Baskerville. I reside at 682 Sun Avenue, Yonkers, New York. I come before the Council today to weigh in on the very serious matter that has involved the Council and the Mayor of the city in a clash that may indeed plunge the city into a constitutional crisis. Fortunately for me, I've had some time to reflect on this matter, and I've prepared a 17-page brief which puts this in larger historical perspective, analyzing the development of the relationship between the various branches of government. Although there's a widespread perception here in the city that the powers of the council are simply limited to legislating and enacting laws, as you probably know by yourselves, there are several additional powers that the council does have in order to prevent the rise of an imperial executive. Unfortunately, many of the actions that Mayor Thomas has taken during his first few months of office do pose serious and grave violations to the city charter. And ultimately, I think that if he continues, this will imperil the very idea of the rule of law in the city. After taking a very thorough look at the legal opinion that was offered by Corporation Counsel Bakari, I have to say that I think it's riddled in a number of areas. And ultimately, we can most easily see this if we think about the logic. If we implemented the logic of Corporation Counsel Bakari's suggestion that the residency requirement somehow or the other be waived because it has been past practice to perhaps overlook it, although I don't know this is actually factually correct. Even if it were, number one, what that would do is undermine one aspect of the rule of law, which is that all persons are to be held accountable under the law. To exempt the commissioners from the residency requirement would beg the question as to why other members of other residents of the city would not also have a provision of law waiting for them. Number two, it would also undermine a second component of the rule of law, and that is that the laws to be stable and have regularity. I want everyone to think about what is likely to happen in the future should city councils follow the recommendations of Bakari, that any past law that has not been strictly enforced be waived by some future administration. For example, the mayor said that he would come into office and be sure to enforce the rules that the IDA receive proper returns on the tax breaks that they're given. What would prevent, if we follow Bakari's recommendation, what would prevent future administrations from invoking a similar exception because past administrations have not thoroughly and properly enforced the law? Moreover, and this is the most important matter, not only is the mayor but also the city council is bound by the provisions of the city charter to uphold all of its ordinances. The city charter does stipulate that it is illegal for the city council members to ignore such provisions, and if they do so, they themselves would be guilty in the commission of some sort of crime. If the city council, in my judgment, therefore does not enforce the law in this matter, I am of the view that the entire city's political establishment would be guilty of the commission of a crime. I think that is obviously something that would be detrimental to the rule of law. And I want to furthermore point out that the city charter does allow residents themselves to intervene in this matter if it is not resolved in a way that keeps with the rule of law in the city. I thank you very much for the opportunity to present my remarks.